I desire mercy and not sacrifice. This Hosea citation, Hosea chapter 6, verse 6, uttered by Jesus, points to the theology of good works present in the Gospel according to Matthew. This statement is made against the backgrounds of a legalistic or ceremonial Jewish religion. The Gospel of today, which is part of what is generally called the Sabbath dispute narratives, recounts the plucking of grain by the disciples of Jesus in a field during the Sabbath day. The Pharisees, whose presence in the grain field is quite intriguing, tell Jesus off on allowing his disciples to violate the Sabbath. Jesus challenges them on the knowledge of a passage we find in the first book of Samuel, chapter 21, recounting the request of bread by King David, who was running away from King Saul, to the priest Ahimelech. That was at Nob. And the request of King David was granted against the law that forbade to give such bread to non-priests because of the rite of purification. In this scriptural argument given by Jesus wants to emphasize the Hosea citation, I desire mercy and not sacrifice. His message is that dire human needs or emergency situations can override details of religious law. It is an attack against a religiosity which is not inspired by mercy. Besides, in the Markan version of this pericope, Jesus puts it clearly: the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. This humanitarian or anthropological argument is the core message of this pericope. In fact, binding ourselves to the strict observance of the law while overlooking the goods of those for whom the law has been enacted is inhuman. It is in this vein that the prominent British Catholic novelist Graham Greene has said in his short story, some people think it is a novel, The Third Man. He has said that we have to break the rules sometimes. Humanity is a duty. If being human is a duty, then with care and good discernment, we can save the lives of our brothers and sisters, even in situations where the enforcement of the law could drown them. This is not always an easy task, of course, for oftentimes we quickly resort to the constitutions of our respective congregations or to the regulations of our schools, high schools, colleges, or universities, or even to our personal principles. We have inner principles that govern our lives. Or even we are very keen with religious practices when we don't work so hard to change our heart. Or how it is sometimes easy for us to enforce the law without considering the consequences of our decisions on others. We really need the grace of God to act appropriately in some circumstances. Are we bold enough to put our principles into context? Are we able to reconsider these our principles when human life is at stake? Dear brothers and sisters, a simple binding principle of life, such as not picking the phone at a late hour on the part of a priest, may lead to a death of a Christian in a state of sin, supposing a priest receives a call, but his principles are such that he cannot take a call when it's too late. The person calling is requesting or is in need of the sacrament of confession. If because of this inner principle, the priest doesn't take the call, the person will die in a state of sin. Imagine the consequence. For Jesus, who came not to abolish the law, but rather to fulfill it, the point here, far from being an invitation to reject our laws our constitutions or our governing principles is rather an appeal to switch to a religion of the heart. In fact, a merciful heart is capable of great things, especially when human life or human dignity is at stake. For example, it is said of Blessed Irene Stefani, an Italian sister who was a missionary in the Archdiocese of Nieri, which I visited last May, that she could literally run to attend to the needs of the sick. This earned her the nickname of Nyahata, which is in Kikuyu. It is a blending. In linguistics, there's what we call blending process. Blending of the phrase Nina Wata in Kikuyu, which has resulted in Nyada, which is translated by Mother of Mercy. She died quite young in 1930 in Nyeri County at the age of 39 and was beatified in 2015 in Nyeri by Polycarp Cardinal Pengo, former Archbishop of Dar es Salaam. When you go to Nyeri, people will tell you that she died, that love killed her. This is what people say, because she was contaminated. She contracted a disease from one of the patients she was taking care of. In fact, love is also what killed Jesus. Love killed the Lord of the Sabbath. And St. Augustine emphasizes the transformative power of love aligned with God. When on his homily on the first letter of St. John, he said, love and do what you will, or love and do what you want. Augustine's message is that if love guides your heart, your actions will naturally align with goodness and virtue. This goodness is clearly seen in Jesus' attitudes toward his disciples in the grain fields on the Sabbath. This goodness is above all shown to us through the supreme love of Jesus Christ on the cross. And so, my brothers and sisters, let us pray that we too show the same merciful love to our brothers and sisters in our daily lives. May the Lord grant us the grace to move from a ritualistic religion to a religion of the heart.